in the last 6 months, I've gotten so many yellow dialed watches on the channel. I love yellow, and even my viewers, even you guys have been mentioning and saying, Pete, bring them on. We're really enjoying this stuff. So I like yellow, especially this company here is called Radcliffe Tsunami. It's a new watch. It's on Kickstarter. It's been fully funded. I think they had about $6,430 as a pledge. They've gotten so far about $88,000. So it's fully been funded. It's going to go ahead. A really cool watch, and I think as an early bird coming in at around $350 on a strap, yeah, on some sort of a strap, I think it's really good value. You've got a high beat Miyota, basically a helium escape valve, really well finished, 300 meters of water resistance, great tolerances. So I think you're getting a great watch here, and a nice design. Now, one of the first things you've probably noticed is that yellow and that looks more orange. It doesn't match. And they've sent me a note saying that there was a production flaw. This is a prototype, by the way, and that is going to match exactly that dial. So in the production version, there's quite a few different colorways. I'll leave the links in the description. Check out the Kickstarter, check out their website. They'll be bringing out different colorways that have already been approved through the Kickstarter. But you also saw the pop-up. This video is sponsored by Radcliffe. They're going to be providing me with a production version of my color choice, and for me, that's the color yellow. I love it. I love what I'm seeing in the hand. They really know how to get a proper yellow color. Forget that, put that aside. That color is spectacular. It really is a nice looking yellow. So, but let's get on to this particular watch, this review. What I measure is a case diameter of 42.3 millimeters, and that bezel I measure at 42.5. The case height comes in at 12.9 or 13 mil. The lug to lug distance I measure at 49 mil and a lug width of 22. Now that crown comes in at 7.9 millimeters. It's a screw down crown and it's loomed, and the weight of the watch comes in at 182 grams, sized to my 18 centimeter wrist. On my 18 centimeter wrist, as you can see, the watch fits superb. It's 42.5 mil thereabouts, 49 millimeter lug to lug, and the height comes in at just under 13 mil. So it's a really compact unit for me anyway, for a 300 meter. That height is lovely. So I think the design is nice, the footprint is good, and if you look at those lugs, they're basically male end links, but they will be changing that in the production version. So that's pretty cool. Now looking at the bracelet of the watch, it's basically an engineer style. Like I said, it's male end links, which will be female in the production version. It basically tapers from 22 down to 20. You've got a beautifully milled clasp, actually a spectacular clasp, really comfortable, but this particular clasp will be changing in the production version. As you can see, this one here has a diver's extension. They're going to scrap that and they're going to put micro adjustments on this. So that's something which I think the watch definitely needs. Now getting onto the bezel of the watch, it's a ceramic bezel, it's loom filled, it's BGW9, and like I said, the color of that's slightly orange. It will be the exact same yellow. So that's a mismatch at the moment, but in the production version, you will have yellow. It's a 120 click unidirectional. Let's have a look at the action. Very nice and crisp. There's a little bit, hardly if any backplay, which is pretty cool, and it lines up spot on. Like I said, this is a pre-production version, a prototype. As a prototype, it's really good. And you can see why it's been funded on Kickstarter. It's actually a decent watch, which is lovely. Now having a close look at that dial, as you can see, it's a sandwich dial. There's plenty of loom. There's plenty of surface area on that for loom. And those hands are quite broad. For a dive style watch, fantastic. You can see it, it's legible. In fact, I'll give you guys a loom shot. As you can see, the BGW9 is evenly applied. There's great legibility all the way around. That bezel is nicely lit. They've done a really good job. They've not spared any expense in that department. Well done. Now if we get onto that crown, as you can see, it's a 7.9 millimeter crown. It's loomed as well as screw down. It offers 300 meters of water resistance. The knurling on it is it's relatively smooth as compared to the bezel. So it's a relatively smooth with some slight hatchings in it. I would love to see the same knurling as that bezel just to give it a bit more grip because it's relatively smooth. But as you can see, 2 clicks and we can hack that Miyota. It's a Miyota 9015. It beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, hacking, hand winding. As you can see, we can adjust the time, start the movement again. A single click will allow us to basically change that date, 5th, 6th, 7th, lock that in as well. The hand winding experience is pretty much standard for Miyota, And the latch down experience, first time, nice and buttery smooth. You got your 300 meters of water resistance. So a really decent watch. I think design wise they've done really well. I've not had an issue with the tolerances or the functionality. Now having a close-up look at that crystal, it's a single dome sapphire. It has 10 layers of AR on the underside. It's doing a decent job. As a prototype, it's doing a decent job. You're not going to get full washout. You can still see that legibility of that dial, even on a bright yellow background. Now there are going to be some changes to the production version of this watch. As you look at the top there, their branding, they've got an X and Tsunami, and that X is going to change. It's going to say Radcliffe, as well as that crown. I believe they're going to change the crown slightly. I'm not sure what, but that's to be seen. The clasp itself is also going to be changed in the production version. As you can see, the quality of this is good. It's fully milled, really nicely finished. They've got a diver's extension. They're going to remove that and they're going to put micro adjustments. So that's one thing that the watch definitely does need. So that's a good addition. We spoke about those end links. They are male, so they extend the actual lug to lug distance to 54.9, but that's not an issue because they're going to be changing them to female end links. These ones do drop down quite nicely, but they will be changing it in the production version. That's about it as far as changes are concerned, but what are the negatives and positives of this watch? And for me personally, that crown, it needs knurling. It's nice that it's 7.9 mil, but there really isn't any grip on it. It's there you go, I can just grip it now. So that definitely needs some sort of a thicker or deeper knurling just to give you that reassurance of using it. So that's one of my first gripes. The weight of the watch is also a potential negative, coming in at 182 grams. It is a little bit of heft on the wrist. I'm used to 150, you guys know that, but the fact that they're supplying it with silicone straps, you know, rubber sort of straps, that's a cool thing, so that'll alleviate that. But on the bracelet, yeah, you will feel this on the wrist. And that's about it. I think it's a decent unit, you know, providing drilled lugs, helium escape valve, 300 meters of water resistance, great lume, great bezel, really nice watch. I didn't show you guys the case back. The case back features the Tsunami, as you can see, that famous Tsunami. It's beautifully done. That is absolutely beautifully done. So even for a pre-production, for a prototype, I think they've done a great job on this watch. That's why it's already been funded. I wanted to share with you guys my positives for this particular watch. Well, I think the color, they've nailed the color. This yellow is spectacular. It is a really nice yellow. The quality of build, it's really nicely built as far as tolerances. The lume is great. And the price, coming in at $350 early birds on a strap, I think it's a decent price for what you get. So let me know your thoughts, guys, of this particular watch. It's the Radcliffe Tsunami 300 meters automatic. Really nice, decent design. I think when that yellow comes in on that bezel, it's going to just offset that beautifully. A really nice feel. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll leave all the links in the description. Leave me your comments and we'll see you all in the next video.